Good afternoon. My name is Mike Corley. I'm with Quanterion Solutions, and today I'd like to share with you a prototype that we developed for scanning and reporting on personally identifiable information, or PII. This particular tool is called the Binary File Application Scanner, or BFAS, and the reason for that is because it was specifically designed to analyze or scan repositories of files. Most organizations store their files regarding their business, their important files such as client information or personnel information in a variety of binary files, like PDF files or PowerPoint files. These are files that are not searchable like you can search on text. So what this particular tool does is it leverages open source tooling in an architectural way so that it's the best of its parts. It maximizes synergy of the tools that make it up, and as those tools improve, it gets better as it inherits those new capabilities. But what it's currently doing is it's allowing you, the operator, to define instances of patterns to match for, look for in text using regular expressions and keywords. So back to PII, if you're looking to identify instances of PII, an organization might use certain identification numbers, or in this example, we use social security numbers, we use credit card information, like MasterCard and Visa, we use keywords, maybe it's certain, in this case, it's my first and last name that I look for, or even organizations. So the point is it's highly tailorable. An organization can define up front the kinds of things that are important, and then search for those things by processing these binary files where their text and their metadata are extracted, and the regular expressions are matched or searched in the underlying text. And where those are identified are reported back and stored in a MongoDB database, a document-centric repository where they can be searched for and they can be reported on, and things of that nature. So this tool can operate on select files or can operate on file shares. And in this case, I'm just going to point to that, a little test files directory that contains a variety of files. And I'll just point that out for you briefly. So here's the particular file. It contains PDF files and PowerPoint files. One thing to note is that what this tool does when it processes is it generates a hash for the file. And what that does is it allows us to identify uniquely the files that it processes. So if a file occurs in more than one location within an organization, if it appears, if you're scanning a network share, and it appears in, this file might appear in different hosts or in different locations, those will be identified and reported. So, handy feature. So let me go ahead and run this in process. I'm going to let it run, and you're going to see it's going to process these files 7 at a time, and that's because this machine has 8 CPU cores in it. And I've told it to go ahead and use 7 of those. So the idea there is you want to maximize processing. It'll use all the CPU cores that are available to it. I've told it to OCR. So as it identifies images in some of these binary files, it will extract text from those images. And you'll see it'll just take a few more minutes to finish processing those files. But in the meantime, if I just refresh the MongoDB database, you see this index got generated. Okay, and this index contains all of the metadata and all the information that occurred in the processing. And what you see here just above it is a browser, which I pull up the URI that exposes the RESTful endpoints. This data is all exposed for integration purposes and flexibility through a RESTful web API, representational state transfer. So if I just hit the return key on this, what it will do, it will return all the documents that are processed. And if I just use this PII endpoint, it'll return all the documents that contain the PII. So here's the metadata as an example. Okay, here's all the metadata that was extracted, like who created it, the person that created it, the date of creation, the authors, if that's available, and then instances of PII. So in this example, it contained 3 different types of PII: phone number, driver's license, and keywords. I can go and look at those, and you can see it matched on my last name. Okay. In this particular instance, there's a visualization view. So I can go and say, okay, I want to see all the files that, and this is using the REST API to pull this information. If I wanted to view all the information, all the files that were scanned that contain social security numbers, I can go and look at those. Like here's that TD 2875, and you can see if I pull pull it up by double clicking on it, it shows me the file, there it is, and it shows me the instance where that occurred. Not just the instance, but also the context in which it occurred. So it gives you a little insight into where in the document that occurred. Okay, and I can also use the REST API to do explicit searches. So I'm going to say, okay, give me all the instances of documents that contain PII with the expression name SSMD2. And that's what you see it doing here in this particular case. This is exactly the functionality being used by the visualization side of the tool. And you can also export these out as kind of separated, so you can pull them into Excel and things of that nature. But that's it. I wanted to briefly share that. And with that, I hope you found that insightful, and I wish you a great day.